Hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Cars and Relevant Specs. The focal point of today's video is going to be about one of my all-time favorite engines. This is going to be the V6 engine from the Nissan 370Z. Why, you may ask, is it my favorite? Well, it's the favorite engine if I had to pick one out of all the engines inside of cars that I have owned over the years. In 2013, almost exactly 9 years ago, I purchased a 2013 Nissan 370Z. And one of the best things about that engine is it was high revving. It was a great mix of different exhaust notes. Low RPM with a cold start, you'd get that percussion back and forth through those dual exhausts, almost like a drum roll. Very similar to some V8 engine sounds. But then as the engine really warmed up and was able to get into letting its voice out, so to speak, at those higher RPMs, like that 7,500 RPM red line, then you were getting like the full orchestra coming out. So really nice engine, 332 horsepower, and today I'm going to do a demonstration really of what that engine was all about and what made it so unique. And to do so, I'm going to use one of my favorite games, the automation game Simulation. So here we go. Keep in mind, this is just a game simulation, and because it is that, some of the specifics will be only estimates or guesses, but the majority of the major engine parts and specs will be true to fact. Alright, so this is a 60-degree V angle engine, and of course 6 cylinders. The block material is aluminum. And our bore is going to be 95.5 millimeters. The stroke is a very typical stroke length of 86. This is a dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder. The head is aluminum, and it does have VVL. Now, of course, you can find out a lot more about these various features through the automation game itself, as well as through various YouTube channels, websites, etc. As you can see here, you can click on the little question marks and find out more if you have this game. Okay, let's continue on. For the crank, we have a forged steel crank for this example. And the connecting rods, this is true to fact here, they are forged connecting rods, forged steel. The pistons, I had to guess, they could be a number of these here, but I suspected that they were either forged or lightweight forged. Alright. And then let's double check here. We have 95.5 for the bore, 86 for the stroke. Compression ratio is going to be 11:1. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to give this a cam profile of 48 and a VVL profile of 63. And you'll notice this gives you some examples of why you might want one versus the other, high versus low for that profile. Alright, 48 and 63. VVT on all cams. Naturally aspirated, saves a lot of tuning within this game. fuel injection is going to be multi-point. It is not a direct injection engine. Keep in mind this engine came out in 2008 originally with an Infiniti, and that went over into the Nissan products as well. Okay, this did have twin throttle bodies, so that was a cool feature there. I'm going to give this a standard intake. I did not have the Nismo version. Nothing super special, but it was awesome. Alright, I'm going to give this the Super 93 fuel. Again, that's on the American scale. Fuel mixture, for the purposes of this game, we're going to make it 13.1. Ignition timing, I'm going to give it an advanced ignition timing. Now, one thing I wish was a little different in this game is to have a few more automatic computer electronic controls that would kick in. This, you pretty much have to set it and then let the game do its thing. There is some simulation to what the computer would do, though. An engine computer. Alright, 7,500 RPM red line, as I had mentioned. Exhaust, we're going to say tubular. Dual exhaust, there's definitely dual exhaust. And there were no bypass valves, but we will give this an exhaust diameter of 63.5 for the purposes of this simulation. Catalytic converter, high flow three-way. First muffler is a straight through resonator, and then second muffler is baffled. Alright, as you see here, we're at 332 horsepower, so that is very accurate. Exactly what the car would have been. That says at 7,200 RPM, and it would have been at 7,000 RPM, so almost identical to the real thing. So that gives you an idea of what we're dealing with here. So very, very similar. Okay, let's go ahead and start up this engine and hear how it sounds. Well, there you have it. More to come in the near future. Thank you everyone for listening to today's video and enjoying. Have a great day.